The lantern's glow trembled as the soldier lowered it toward the bed frame. The child clutched his coat, her lips pale, her breath broken. She whispered, barely audible, "It's under the bed." The canine growled once, ears sharp, body rigid, then stopped. It wouldn't take another step. The soldier froze, eyes locked on the dark beneath the bed. Silence pressed heavy. Then the boards creaked, not from him, not from the girl, not from the dog. The whisper came back from under the bed, soft, broken. "Don't let him find me." The soldier's chest locked. His finger brushed the trigger. And the child screamed, "That's not me." The storm clawed at the cabin walls like an animal desperate to get in. Wind drove snow hard against the windows, rattling the glass, seeping cold into the cracks. But inside, it was quieter than it should have been. Too quiet. The soldier stood in the center of the room, lantern raised in one hand, rifle in the other. The flame flickered against the boards, throwing long shadows across the small, bare interior, a table overturned, a single bed pushed against the wall, and a rug shoved hastily aside as if someone had tried to hide something underneath. The black German shepherd beside him growled low, steady. Its tail was rigid, its ears forward, its eyes locked not on the window, not on the door, but on the dark space beneath the bed. The child pressed close to his side, small fists gripping the sleeve of his coat. Her breath came sharp and quick, like she was trying to keep it in but couldn't. She tilted her face up toward him, lips trembling, eyes wide. And then, in a voice so soft he almost missed it beneath the storm's howl, she whispered, "It's under the bed." The soldier froze. The lantern wavered in his grip, shadows stretching long across the wall. He swallowed, throat dry, and lowered the light a fraction toward the floor. Dust swirled in the amber glow, settling in the cracks of the wood. The shepherd barked once, sharp, explosive. The sound cracked through the cabin like a gunshot. The girl flinched, burying her face in his sleeve. But the dog didn't move forward. It stayed rooted in place, claws digging into the boards, chest rumbling like thunder. Its whole body trembled with restraint, but it would not step closer to the bed. The soldier crouched, slowly, knees creaking against the floor. He angled the lantern lower, the golden glow spilling just enough to graze the bottom edge of the bed frame. Nothing. Just shadow. He lowered it further. The child's whisper pressed again, cracking this time. "Don't let him find me." The soldier's breath caught. His eyes cut to her instantly. Her lips were sealed. She hadn't said it. The canine erupted into another bark, louder, violent, a snarl tearing from its throat. The sound rattled the lantern glass, made the flame flicker. The girl shrieked and clung tighter to his coat. Then the floorboards creaked. From under the bed. The soldier's rifle snapped up instantly, barrel trained on the shadows. His voice came sharp, cutting the silence. "Who's there?" The storm outside howled, pressing against the walls. For a moment there was nothing. Then the whisper came back. "Who's there?" His own words. His own voice. But twisted, broken, thrown back at him from beneath the bed. The child screamed, her voice piercing. "That's not me." The shepherd barked again, savage, teeth flashing in the lantern glow. The soldier's pulse hammered in his throat. His finger brushed the trigger, his voice rough. "Show yourself." The boards under the bed groaned, bending as though something heavy pressed against them from beneath. Dust fell in thin streams, glowing in the lantern light. The whisper pressed again, softer this time, desperate. "Don't let him find me." The soldier's chest locked. He snapped his head down to the girl. Her face was pale, lips trembling, eyes wide, but she hadn't spoken. His voice came harder, fierce. "Stay behind me." The child clutched tighter, sobbing, nodding fast. The shepherd lowered itself closer to the floor, growl deepening, teeth bared, ears flat. Its eyes never left the dark space beneath the bed. The soldier's throat was raw, but his voice held steady. "If you were in my boots, would you trust the dog, or the voice?" The boards creaked again. Dust fell heavier. The whisper pressed out of the dark, fractured, breaking. "Trust the dog. Trust the voice. Trust the dog." The soldier's pulse hammered, his ribs aching with every breath. His grip locked on the rifle. The child sobbed harder, pressing her face into his sleeve. The shepherd barked once more, savage, shaking the boards with the force of it. The soldier steadied the lantern lower, flames spilling into the shadows beneath the bed. Dust danced. Boards groaned. Something moved. Not fast. Not sudden. But deliberate. A hand. Pale. Fingers cracked, nails split, dragging slow across the floorboards as it reached out from the shadows. The girl shrieked, screaming into his chest. "That's not me." The soldier's finger pressed tighter against the trigger. His chest heaved, eyes locked on the hand. The shepherd snarled, teeth snapping at the empty air. The whisper rose again, louder, sharper, filling the cabin like smoke. "Don't let him find me." The soldier's jaw locked. His breath shook. He steadied the rifle, voice tearing from his throat. "Not while I'm here." The hand froze. The room fell still. Then the boards cracked louder, something heavy shifting beneath the bed. The soldier's eyes narrowed. The canine barked violently. The child sobbed harder. The storm outside raged. And the whisper pressed again, broken, begging now. "Help me. Open." The whisper clung to the air, fragile yet piercing. "Help me." The soldier's pulse hammered so loud it drowned the storm outside. His breath came rough, hot against the cold. He steadied the rifle tighter against his shoulder, the lantern shaking in his grip. Its glow caught the hand stretching farther from beneath the bed, pale, veins dark, nails jagged and cracked. The shepherd barked again, vicious, snapping the air with teeth that gleamed in the light. Its claws raked across the boards as it tried to lunge, but its body held back, like an invisible line had been drawn at the edge of the bed. The child's cry tore through the room. "Don't listen. That's not me." Her face buried into his sleeve, her voice broken with terror. Her fists clung so tight to his coat that the fabric strained beneath them. The soldier's throat burned, but his voice cut hard. "Stay behind me." The whisper came back immediately, soft, broken, perfectly copying his own tone. "Stay behind me." The soldier froze. His eyes cut to the girl, to the bed, to the hand dragging across the floor. Dust followed the pale fingers as they scraped long grooves into the wood. The shepherd's growl deepened, chest shaking, saliva dripping from its jaws. Its eyes never left the dark beneath the bed. The soldier lowered the lantern just a little further. Its light spilled deeper into the gap, swallowing more of the shadow. The child whispered again, weak. "Please don't let him find me." But at the same instant, the voice came from under the bed too. "Please don't let him find me." Two voices. Identical. One trembling against his coat. The other broken, too steady, too calm. The soldier's chest locked. His jaw tightened until it ached. His breath rasped between his teeth. The shepherd barked so loud the lantern nearly dropped from his hand. "Out!" the soldier roared toward the shadows. His voice cracked with the force of it. The dark answered instantly, fractured, mocking. "Out! Out! Out!" The soldier's teeth ground together. His trigger finger twitched. The hand pressed further out, dragging more of an arm behind it. The skin was pale, mottled. The nails clawed deep into the wood as if pulling its body forward inch by inch. The child screamed again, sobbing. "That's not me." The soldier's heart slammed in his chest. He steadied the rifle, lantern shaking, flame guttering in the glass. The whisper pressed louder, broken into sobs now. "Don't let him find me. Help me. Daddy." The soldier's throat tightened. His eyes snapped to the girl. She hadn't said a word. The shepherd lunged closer to the edge of the bed, jaws snapping at the air, spit flying in white strands. Its body trembled with rage, refusing to cross the threshold. The soldier's voice tore out raw. "If you were me, would you believe the one that shakes, or the one that copies?" The bed answered instantly. "Believe the one that shakes. Believe the one that copies. Believe, believe." The soldier's ears rang with the layered voices. His vision blurred. Sweat stung his eyes despite the freezing air. The child sobbed harder, clutching his coat. "Please don't let him." Her words broke. The whisper picked them up, finishing for her. "Please don't let him." The soldier's jaw clenched so hard his teeth ached. The boards beneath the bed groaned, bending under new weight. Dust fell in sheets, covering the floor. Something massive shifted underneath, pressing against the frame. The soldier steadied his rifle. The shepherd barked again, so close to breaking forward it shook the boards. The hand reached out further. And then, another hand emerged beside it. The soldier's chest froze. Two hands now, fingers clawing the boards, pulling the shadow closer into the light. The lantern flickered, flame straining. Its glow stretched under the bed, and caught a face. Pale. Too pale. Lips cracked, eyes wide, trembling. Her face. The soldier's chest collapsed. His grip shook. His rifle wavered. The girl behind him screamed, voice shrill, shattering. "That's not me." The shepherd lunged so hard its claws dug deep grooves into the floorboards, teeth snapping inches from the face. It growled savagely, desperate to tear. The whisper pressed louder, urgent now. "Help me. Help me. Please." The soldier's throat burned. His chest shook. His knees trembled. He forced his jaw shut. His voice came low, raw. "Not while I breathe." The rifle cracked, muzzle flash lighting the bed frame in violent orange. The shot tore through the face, blood spraying against the boards. The body collapsed backward, vanishing into the dark. The girl screamed louder, her sobs breaking into pieces. The whisper returned instantly, fractured, multiplied. "Help me. Don't let him find me. Daddy." Dozens of voices now, all crawling from under the bed, pressing against the boards. The shepherd barked again, violent, savage. The soldier steadied the rifle, chest heaving, breath tearing out of him. His throat was raw, his ribs screaming. His eyes burned. The whisper pressed louder, fractured into dozens of overlapping cries. "Don't let him find me. Help me. Please." The soldier shouted above them, voice breaking. "You don't get her." The bed shuddered. Dust fell in clouds. The boards creaked louder. Something huge pressed up from beneath, bending the frame, cracking the wood. The shepherd barked one last time, sharp and violent. And the whisper pressed out louder than ever. "Help me." The rifle's crack still echoed in his skull when the bed shuddered violently. Dust fell in thick sheets from the rafters. The boards beneath the frame groaned as if something far heavier than a child was pushing up from underneath. The soldier's chest heaved. He reloaded with a sharp motion, bolt slamming forward. His arms shook, sweat freezing against his skin, but his hands moved with the discipline of years. The lantern flame guttered wildly, casting shadows that bent like broken bodies across the walls. The shepherd's growl deepened, low and steady, its body pressed forward but still refusing to cross under the frame. Saliva dripped from its jaws, its ears locked forward. Every muscle trembled, but the invisible barrier held it rooted in place. The girl's sobs tore into his coat. "Don't let him find me, don't let him find me," her voice fractured, broken into repetition, as if the words themselves were her only shield. Then the room answered her. "Don't let him find me. Don't let him find me. Don't let him find me." Dozens of voices, all stacked on top of hers, spilling out from under the bed in a chorus that wasn't human. The soldier's jaw clenched until his teeth ached. He steadied the rifle, eyes locked on the darkness beneath the bed. His chest rose and fell in brutal rhythm, every breath a fight. The whisper fractured again, softer now, uncertain. "Don't let him, don't let him, don't let him." And then, silence. The soldier's ears rang in the quiet. His eyes darted across the boards. His finger tightened on the trigger. The floor shifted. The bed lifted an inch from the ground, wood splintering at the legs. Then it slammed back down with a crash that shook the cabin. The girl screamed into his sleeve. The shepherd barked once, ears flat, body rigid. The whisper pressed out again, louder, urgent now. "Help me! Help me! Help me!" The words layered over each other until they became less a plea and more a demand. The soldier shouted above them, voice raw. "You're not her." The swarm answered instantly, fractured. "You're not her. You're not her. You're not her." His own words twisted, layered back at him until they drilled into his ears. The child sobbed louder, shaking violently against his side. "Please don't let him take me." Her words steadied him. He gritted his teeth, forced his lungs to work, forced the rifle to stay tight against his shoulder. His voice came low, fierce. "Not while I breathe." The shepherd lunged again, teeth snapping, claws dragging against the boards. Its growl thundered through the cabin, vibrating through the soldier's knees. The lantern flickered again, flame bending low, threatening to die. In that flash of dim light, he saw more. Not just one hand, or two. 4. 6. Hands reaching out from beneath the bed, clawing at the floorboards, dragging long grooves into the wood. Fingers cracked, nails bleeding, skin torn. Some small, like a child's. Some long, distorted, wrong. The soldier's stomach turned. He raised the rifle higher. The whisper fractured again, mimicking him now. "Stay behind me. Not while I breathe. Show yourself." Every command he had given, every vow he had made, thrown back at him from under the bed, twisted and broken. His pulse slammed harder, his ears ringing with the storm of voices. The girl screamed again, her voice piercing, desperate. "That's not me." The soldier roared, voice breaking. "If you were in my boots, would you fire until the frame breaks, or wait to see what crawls out?" The room answered instantly, fractured and cruel. "Fire until the frame breaks. Wait to see what crawls out. Fire, wait, fire, wait." The soldier's vision swam. His knees shook. His ribs screamed. His finger twitched against the trigger. The shepherd barked again, violent, snapping its teeth. Then the bed cracked. The frame split down the center, wood snapping like bones. Dust exploded upward. The mattress caved inward, as if something underneath was dragging it down. The lantern's glow caught pale faces pressed against the underside of the boards, mouths wide, eyes too large, skin stretched thin. Their whispers tore out in fractured harmony. "Help me. Daddy. Don't let him find me." The soldier fired. The rifle cracked, muzzle flash cutting the dark. One face shattered backward, blood spraying across the boards. Another pressed instantly into its place. The girl shrieked, sobbing into his sleeve. "Don't let him find me." The soldier's throat tore with the force of his reply. "Not while I'm here." The swarm screamed louder, fractured, layered. "Not while I'm here." Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here. The words drilled into his skull until his ears bled fresh, streaks running warm down his neck. The shepherd lunged again, teeth clamping onto one of the hands dragging across the floor. Bone snapped, blood sprayed, the body collapsed backward into the dark. Another instantly replaced it. The soldier's vision swam white. His chest heaved, lungs tearing. His voice came ragged but certain. You don't get her. The bed frame splintered louder. More hands pressed forward. The mattress sagged deeper. Dust fell in clouds, choking the air. The whisper fractured one last time, broken into a single desperate plea. Help me. And then the bed collapsed entirely, crashing to the floor. From underneath, something larger began to rise. The bed collapsed with a deafening crash, wood splintering across the floor. The mattress caved into the hole beneath, torn open like a wound. Dust rolled through the room in thick waves, choking the lantern's light until everything swam in gold haze. The soldier coughed hard, ribs screaming, but he didn't lower the rifle. His stance stayed locked, barrel trained on the wreckage. His boots dug into the boards, braced against whatever was about to come through. The girl screamed into his chest, her words lost in sobs. She clung to him so tight his sleeve felt like it might rip away under her grip. Her voice cracked, breaking into a whisper that barely reached his ear. Don't let him find me. The canine's growl was steady, almost mechanical now, chest vibrating like a drum. It circled the edge of the wreckage, ears flat, eyes burning, refusing to step into the hole but refusing to retreat. Saliva dripped steady from its jaws. Every few seconds, a bark tore free, sharp, violent, grounding. The whisper came from the hole, louder this time. Help me. The soldier's eyes locked onto the dark pit beneath the shattered bed. The dust parted just enough for him to see movement, slow, deliberate, heavy. Help me. Another voice layered over it. Help me. Then another. Help me. Dozens now, stacking until the cabin shook with the sound. The soldier roared above them, his voice tearing raw from his throat. You're not her. The pit answered instantly, fractured, louder. You're not her. You're not her. You're not her. The soldier's knees shook. His ears bled again, streaks running warm down his neck. His vision blurred, but he didn't lower the rifle. The child sobbed harder, whispering against his coat. That's not me. Don't let him take me. Her words steadied him. He forced air into his chest, forced steel back into his voice. Not while I'm here. The pit screamed louder, fractured, broken into rage. Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here. The boards around the hole bent, groaned. Then the floor split wider. Something massive pressed upward, pushing splinters and dust aside. The soldier raised the lantern higher. Its flame shook but lit just enough. A figure rose. Tall. Shoulders too wide. Arms too long. Skin pale, stretched, cracked with veins that pulsed black. Its head hung low, hair falling forward in filthy strands. Its hands dragged grooves into the floor as it crawled upward, fingers bending at wrong angles. The shepherd barked savagely, lunging forward until its claws scraped the edge of the hole. Its teeth snapped an inch from the figure's arm. Blood sprayed as it bit deep, tearing skin. The figure didn't flinch. It just kept climbing. The soldier fired. The rifle cracked, muzzle flash lighting the cabin. The round tore into the figure's shoulder, jerking it back. Dust exploded from the wound. For a second, the thing sagged. Then it kept climbing, dragging its weight upward. The soldier fired again. The second shot slammed into its chest. Blood sprayed. Still it climbed. The whisper fractured louder. Help me. Help me. Please. The girl shrieked, her voice tearing raw. That's not me. The soldier's jaw clenched so hard his teeth ached. His chest heaved, his ribs screaming. His finger shook against the trigger, but he didn't stop. He fired again. The third round snapped the figure's head sideways, blood streaking across the boards. Still it crawled. The shepherd lunged again, snapping at its arm, tearing more flesh. Blood sprayed across the boards, hot against the cold air. The dog snarled violently, shaking its head, refusing to let go. The soldier shouted, his voice breaking. If you were me, would you run now, or finish it here? The voices answered instantly, fractured, cruel. Run now. Finish it here. Run, finish, run, finish. The soldier's chest collapsed under the weight of the words. His knees buckled, his vision swam. His breath tore jagged, choking. The girl sobbed louder, whispering against his chest. Don't let him find me. The soldier forced his throat to work. His voice came low, certain, fierce. Not while I breathe. The figure's head snapped upward. For the first time, he saw its face. Her face. Perfect. Pale. Lips cracked. Eyes wide. Blood streaking across her chin. The soldier's chest seized. His rifle dipped. His breath shattered. The girl behind him screamed, voice shrill, desperate. That's not me. The figure's lips trembled. Help me. The soldier's finger trembled on the trigger. His vision blurred. His knees shook. His jaw locked. The shepherd snarled louder than ever, blood dripping from its muzzle, its whole body trembling with rage. The soldier's voice cracked, raw. You're not her. The figure screamed back, fractured. You're not her. You're not her. You're not her. The soldier fired. The blast lit the cabin in violent orange. The round tore through the figure's head. It collapsed backward, vanishing into the hole. The whispers screamed louder, fractured into chaos. Help me! Help me! Help me! Dozens of voices now, crawling from the hole, pressing against the boards, shaking the cabin. The shepherd barked once, sharp, echoing like thunder. And then the whisper cut through all the rest, louder than everything else. Choose. The single word clung to the air like a blade. Choose. The soldier's chest tightened, ribs grinding with each breath. His fingers steadied on the trigger though the rifle felt heavier now, like every ounce of steel carried the weight of the room. The lantern's flame flickered weakly, shadows stretching long, distorted, twitching across the walls. The K9 barked once, sharp, teeth bared and bloody. Its growl rolled steady, its body pressed forward but still holding the invisible line at the edge of the hole. The girl sobbed into his sleeve, voice shredded but still pushing through. Don't let him find me. Her whisper steadied him for a heartbeat, then the hole answered back in perfect sync. Don't let him find me. Her words, but wrong. Too steady. Too calm. The soldier's jaw locked. His throat burned. You don't get her. The whispers fractured instantly, stacked in dozens of overlapping layers. You don't get her. You don't get her. You don't get her. The floorboards cracked. The pit widened. More hands clawed upward, fingers jagged, nails dragging deep grooves into the wood. Arms tangled together as pale faces pressed upward. Their mouths stretched wide, words pouring out in fractured harmony. Help me. Help me. Daddy. Don't let him find me. The soldier roared, voice ripping through his throat. You're not her. The pit screamed back instantly, broken, distorted. You're not her. You're not her. You're not her. The soldier's ears rang with the sound. Blood streaked down his neck, warm against the freezing air. His vision blurred white at the edges, but he didn't drop the rifle. The K9 lunged forward, snapping its teeth at the closest arm dragging from the pit. Bone cracked, blood sprayed hot. The figure collapsed backward, but another immediately filled its place, mouth wide, whisper pouring out. "Help me!" The girl shrieked louder, sobbing into his chest. "That's not me." The soldier steadied the rifle again, every muscle screaming. His voice came sharp, broken. "If you were in my boots, would you keep firing until nothing's left, or drag her out and run before the floor gives?" The cabin answered instantly, fractured, cruel. "Keep firing until nothing's left. Drag her out and run. Fire, run, fire, run." The soldier's knees shook, breath torn, ribs stabbing. His chest rose and fell violently, but his grip stayed firm. The whispers fractured again, louder, pressing harder into his skull. "Help me. Don't let him find me. Daddy. Stay behind me." His own words. The girl's words. All twisted, all wrong. The soldier's eyes burned. He roared above them, voice breaking but unyielding. "Not while I'm here." The pit screamed louder, fractured back. "Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here." The floor split wider. Boards bent. Nails popped loose and fired across the room like shrapnel. Dust poured down like snow. The K9 barked again, violent, shaking the boards with the force of it. Its muzzle dripped blood, teeth flashing white in the lantern glow. The soldier fired. The rifle cracked, muzzle flash lighting the swarm. One head snapped back, blood spraying across the walls. Another pressed instantly into its place, mouth wide, whisper tearing through the dark. "Help me." The soldier fired again. Another fell. Another rose. The girl sobbed harder, whispering into his sleeve. "Don't let him take me." The soldier's throat burned, voice raw but steady. "Not while I breathe." The pit screamed louder, fractured, broken. "Not while I breathe. Not while I breathe. Not while I breathe." The word shook the cabin, rattled the lantern, made the flame nearly die. The soldier's chest collapsed under the weight of it. His knees buckled. His vision swam. He dropped to one knee, rifle still steady, lantern shaking in his grip. The K9 lunged again, clamping its jaws around another arm. Bone cracked, blood sprayed. The dog snarled, shaking violently, tearing the figure back into the pit. The soldier's voice came low, sharp, torn from deep inside him. "You don't get her." The pit hissed back, fractured but unified for the first time. "Choose." The word pressed louder, sharper, shaking the cabin. The soldier's throat locked. His chest burned. His breath tore ragged. The girl's whisper came again, softer, trembling. "Don't let him find me." The soldier steadied his rifle. His jaw locked. His voice broke but held. "I already did." The pit roared louder, fractured, screaming. "I already did. I already did. I already did." The soldier's chest heaved, his ears rang, his ribs screamed. But he stayed steady, rifle aimed, dog growling, child clinging to him. The floor cracked louder. The pit widened further. More hands clawed upward, more faces pressed into the lantern's light. The soldier's pulse hammered. His finger tightened on the trigger. His breath shook, his eyes burned. The whispers pressed harder, fractured, broken. "Help me! Help me! Please!" The girl screamed louder, voice shattering. "That's not me." The soldier shouted back, his voice raw and final. "Not while I'm here." The whispers fractured into screams, shaking the cabin. "Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here. Not while I'm here." The lantern flickered violently, shadows stretching long across the walls. Dust fell in clouds. The soldier fired again. The blast lit the room in violent orange. But the pit only screamed louder. Choose. The floor split wider, tearing the cabin open with a groan that echoed like a dying tree in a storm. The bed was gone, shattered into splinters. In its place gaped a jagged pit where the shadows pulsed as if they had weight. The soldier gripped his rifle so tight his knuckles ached white beneath the dirt. Sweat froze against his temples. His chest heaved, ribs burning with every breath, but he would not lower the weapon. The lantern swung from his hand, its flame bowing in the draft, stretching the shadows long and sharp across the walls. The shepherd paced in front of him, hackles bristled, tail stiff as a spear. It snapped at the dark each time something shifted at the edge of the pit. Blood streaked its muzzle, dripping onto the boards, but it held steady. Its growl never broke, a steady engine keeping the soldier upright. The girl clung to his sleeve. He could feel her trembling through the fabric, every sob rattling into his arm. Her whisper came again, weak, fading. "Don't let him take me." The words cut through the noise, but the pit wasn't silent. Other voices joined in, twisting her plea. They overlapped, mismatched, some loud, some faint, some echoing with impossible clarity. "Help me. Don't open the door. Daddy. You promised. Stay behind me." The soldier's chest hollowed. He forced himself to breathe steady, even as his ears rang under the barrage. The whispers weren't repeating anymore. They were stealing. Every word he'd spoken, every cry from the child, fed back to him as though 100 mouths had been pressed under the floor, practicing their lines. The shepherd lunged again, clamping its jaws on a hand that had clawed up from the pit. Bones snapped with a sharp crack. The figure dropped back into the dark with a shriek that didn't belong to one throat, but to many. Dust rained from the rafters. The boards groaned again. Then something larger rose. It dragged itself upward with arms too long for its body, shoulders scraping the sides of the pit. Its skin was stretched, veins glowing faint beneath. Its face was hidden by strands of wet hair, but its mouth moved. From it spilled dozens of overlapping voices. "Help me. Don't let him find me. Daddy, please. You don't get her." The soldier fired. The shot cracked through the room, muzzle flash lighting the thing's face for an instant. His breath caught. It was hers. The girl's face, pale and trembling, lips cracked in the same way, blood streaked across the chin. The child at his side screamed, her cry cutting raw into his ear. "That's not me." The shepherd snarled, jaws snapping inches from the figure's face, refusing to back away. The soldier steadied himself, voice jagged. "You're not her." The whispers answered immediately, a chorus spilling from the pit. "You're not her. You're not her," not repeated identically this time, but each version carrying a different tone, mocking, pleading, taunting, weeping. He fired again. The shot snapped the figure's head sideways. Blood sprayed, spattering the boards. The body staggered but didn't fall. It leaned forward, arms dragging grooves across the floor, whispering with its stolen mouth. "Help me." The soldier's jaw locked. His voice cracked. "Not while I'm here." The pit shook. More faces pressed against the edge, some blurred, some too sharp, all wrong. Each one mouthed a different phrase. "Stay behind me. Open it. Not while I breathe. Please." It wasn't just copying. It was choosing. Selecting words like knives, turning them against him. The soldier's breath came rough. His chest ached. His arms trembled. He forced his voice low, steady. "If you were in my boots, would you fire until the dark was empty, or trust the silence when it comes?" The room didn't hesitate. The whispers overlapped again, voices tangled. Fire until it's empty. Trust the silence. Don't stop. Run. His ears rang with the chaos. He shut it out, fixed his eyes on the girl's tear-streaked face pressed against his sleeve. Her voice shook but didn't break this time. Don't let him find me. That was real. The shepherd barked once, chest shaking with the force. The soldier's grip tightened. His voice broke but held its weight. I already chose. The pit answered with a single word, louder, sharper, vibrating through the cabin. Choose. The lantern's flame nearly died, shadows swelling. The child sobbed into his arm. The dog's growl deepened. The figure crawled closer, hair falling back, pale eyes fixed on him. And then, from the pit, the voices didn't fracture. They unified for the first time, all speaking in one terrible, steady rhythm. Help me. The soldier's chest froze. The girl whispered softer, real, desperate. Don't let him. The dog snarled louder, ears flat, eyes locked on the pit. The soldier raised the rifle higher, breath broken but steady. His finger pressed against the trigger. The cabin groaned. The voices pressed harder. Dust poured from the ceiling. Help me. One voice. Many mouths. The soldier's eyes burned. His chest shook. His voice tore raw as he answered. Not her. Not ever. The figure at the edge of the pit lunged forward. The soldier fired. The rifle cracked, flame bursting from the muzzle, throwing the pit into violent light. For a second, he saw all of them, dozens of pale faces stacked like a wall, mouths moving in jagged rhythm. The bullet tore through one skull, snapping it backward, blood spraying against the boards. But when the light faded, more leaned forward, unbroken, their voices rising. The shepherd hurled itself at the figure, jaws clamping down on its arm. Bones snapped with a sound that rattled the soldier's teeth. The dog shook its head, growling so deep it seemed pulled from the earth itself, dragging the pale body sideways. The figure shrieked, but the sound wasn't singular, it fractured into a storm, layers of voices all screaming at once. The soldier staggered back half a step, lantern swinging wildly. Dust swirled in the glow, making it look like the air itself was alive. He dragged the child tighter to his side, her small body pressed into him. She sobbed, her fists locked around his coat. Her whisper was barely audible. Please, don't let him take me. The pit answered with a storm. Please. Don't let him. Take me. Daddy. Help me. Not one voice, not even dozens, hundreds. All weaving in and out of each other, overlapping until the air vibrated. Some were low, guttural, almost like growls. Others were high and brittle, breaking at the edges. The soldier gritted his teeth. His ears throbbed with pressure. Blood streaked his neck, dripping into his collar. He forced his lungs to steady. He forced the rifle back to his shoulder. The girl screamed suddenly, jerking at his sleeve. That's not me. The soldier roared back at the pit, voice raw. You're not her. The cabin answered in chaos. You're not her. You're not her. You're not her. But each voice carried a different emotion, one pleading, one mocking, one commanding. They layered together until it didn't sound like words anymore, but like metal grinding against bone. The shepherd ripped a piece from the figure's arm, blood spraying. The body collapsed back into the pit, but in its place another clawed forward, its nails tearing long streaks into the floorboards. Its face rose into the lantern light. Her face. Again. The soldier's heart staggered. Sweat froze against his brow. His breath tore sharp and shallow. The girl shrieked louder, her voice raw. That's not me. The soldier steadied his aim, even as his vision blurred. His finger pressed tight. The rifle cracked again. The face shattered backward into the pit. The voices roared louder. Don't let him. Stay behind me. Not while I breathe. You don't get her. His words. All of them, stolen and warped. The soldier's jaw ached. His chest burned. His knees threatened to give. He shouted above the storm, voice breaking. If you were in my boots, would you drown in their noise, or cling to the one voice that trembles? The pit responded instantly. Noise. Tremble. Cling. Drown. The voices tangled, fractured, pulling in every direction. The lantern flickered low. The shadows swelled higher. The boards creaked, groaned, threatened to give way beneath their weight. The shepherd barked once, sharp, the sound cutting through the storm for a heartbeat. The soldier's ears rang. His ribs screamed. He steadied the rifle again. His voice tore through him, harsh and certain. I choose her. The pit erupted. The faces screamed together, overlapping, distorted until they became a single roar. The walls rattled, nails popping, dust raining down like ash. The flame in the lantern shrank to a pinprick. The girl buried her face into his sleeve, whispering again, so soft it nearly broke him. Don't let him. The soldier bent his head close to her ear, his voice ragged but steady. Not while I breathe. The voices faltered, fractured, their rhythm broken. For a second, silence pressed in. Then one voice rose above all the others. Choose. Not fractured. Not layered. Singular. The soldier's throat locked. His chest collapsed. His finger twitched on the trigger. The shepherd growled, low and steady, its teeth still dripping. The lantern sputtered. And from the pit, multiple voices surged back together, but this time distorted, overlapping into chaos. Help me. Don't let him. Daddy. Choose. Please. Stay. Go. All at once. The soldier dropped to one knee, rifle steady, his jaw locked. His chest screamed with each breath. His ears rang with the storm. The girl whispered once more, trembling but clear. Please. The soldier's eyes burned. His voice cracked but didn't break. You don't get her. The pit answered instantly. Then give yourself. The lantern guttered out. The lantern died with a hiss, plunging the cabin into black. For a heartbeat there was nothing, no storm, no floorboards, no breath. Just void. Then the whispers came back. Not a chorus now. Not a chant. But thousands of fragments splintering through the dark like glass. Don't open it. Help me. Run. Stay. Daddy. Choose. Each word struck from a different angle, as though the walls themselves had mouths. The soldier's ears throbbed, his head pounding with the weight of too many voices. He pressed the girl tighter against him, his free hand steadying the rifle even though he couldn't see more than shadows moving in the dark. The shepherd growled, chest vibrating against the boards, its eyes faintly catching what little glow crept in through the cracks. It paced back and forth at the edge of the pit, tail stiff, throat rumbling like a drum. The girl clutched his sleeve tighter, her sobs muffled against his chest. Her whisper cracked again, thin as thread. Please, don't let him take me. The soldier bent his head low, his own whisper rasping back. He won't. Not while I breathe. The pit answered instantly, voices snapping in unison. Not while I breathe. Not while I breathe. Not while I breathe. But each time the words twisted, one taunting, one pleading, one laughing. The mimicry wasn't random anymore. It was deliberate, sharpened like a blade. The soldier gritted his teeth. His ribs screamed, his throat tore, but his stance didn't falter. He lifted the rifle higher, steady even in the dark. A sudden thud shook the floor. Boards cracked outward as a hand slammed down, fingers clawing into the wood. Another followed, then another. Soon the edges of the pit were lined with pale hands, dragging bodies upward. The shepherd barked violently, lunging close, teeth snapping at the nearest arm. Bone cracked, blood sprayed, the body fell back, but more replaced it instantly. The soldier could feel the cabin tilt, weight shifting as if too many bodies pressed against its frame. The whispers overlapped again, tighter now, closing in. "Help me. Take her. Choose. Don't let him. You promised." The girl cried louder, tugging hard at his coat. "That's not me." Her raw voice cut through the storm, the only thread he trusted. The soldier shouted back into the dark, his voice jagged. "If you were in my boots, would you keep standing here, or drag her into the storm and face what's outside instead?" The whispers surged instantly, arguing with each other. "Stand here. Run outside. Face it. Hide." They tangled, pulling at his mind until every direction felt wrong. His knees trembled, his vision blurred. He shut his eyes hard, grounding himself in the sound of the girl's sobs, in the steady vibration of the shepherd's growl. He opened them again. His rifle stayed steady. "Not while I'm here," he growled. The pit answered with fury. The voices rose together, layered but no longer fractured. They didn't mimic. They didn't plead. They demanded. "Choose." The floor split further, boards snapping like ribs. The cabin sagged under the weight. Dust rained in heavy curtains. The soldier fired. The muzzle flash lit a dozen faces at once, some children, some twisted, some too familiar. One fell back, but the rest surged forward. The noise swallowed the blast. The shepherd lunged again, tearing another body sideways. Its jaws dripped crimson, eyes locked in fury. It refused to back down. The girl sobbed harder, her words tearing free. "Please don't leave me." The soldier bent his head close, his voice breaking but steady. "I won't." The voices swelled, louder than the storm outside, louder than the cracking beams. They tangled together into something deeper, something not human anymore. "Give yourself." The soldier's chest locked. His throat closed. His heart hammered against his ribs. The shepherd barked once, ears flat, tail rigid. The child sobbed, clinging tighter, whispering again, softer, desperate. "Don't let him." The soldier's eyes burned. His voice cut through his own fear. "You don't get her." The pit rumbled back, vibrating the floorboards. "Then you." The soldier's grip tightened on the rifle. His jaw locked. His knees braced. His breath shook but didn't break. The lantern's last ember flickered once, giving him a glimpse. The entire pit was rising. Not one figure. Not dozens. A mass. Bodies crawling over each other, faces overlapping, mouths stretched wide, voices spilling all at once. The soldier's pulse hammered. His finger curled against the trigger. And then the cabin floor split entirely, collapsing into the dark. The floor gave way like ice over black water. Boards sheared, joists groaned, and the mattress slid into the darkness with a soft sigh that felt obscene after all the noise. The soldier grabbed a splintered bed rail with one hand and the child with the other, hauling her sideways as the room tilted. The K9 launched, claws screeching, landing on a narrow run of timber that hadn't fallen yet. Dust swallowed the lantern's ember, the world became outlines, angles, breath, and the cold. He planted his boots on a surviving joist, a single spine of wood spanning the hole. Beneath him, the pit wasn't empty. It moved. Bodies jostled and turned, faces sliding across one another like reflections in broken glass. Hands lifted, palms open, fingers flexing as if testing the air. The dog wedged itself between the soldier and the child, stance low, eyes locked downward. It didn't bark. The sound it made was older, a compressed thunder rolling in its chest. The child trembled, jaw clicking with cold and fear. "Don't let him. I've got you," he whispered, voice raw. He nudged her toward the one solid corner left, an old dresser bolted into studs that hadn't torn free. "Up!" Both hands. She climbed, boots slipping, fingers scrabbling for the edge. The K9 rose on its forepaws, bracing, letting her clutch fistfuls of fur to steady herself. The dresser groaned but held. The soldier stepped sideways along the joist, spreading his weight, keeping himself between them and the hole. Below, a single voice rose. Not loud. Not angry. Precise. "Choose." The soldier's pulse hit hard enough to shake the rifle. He leveled the barrel at the black, tracking small movements, shifts of shoulder, a cheek lifting, a mouth opening where a mouth shouldn't be. His breath fogged and thinned. Somewhere, a beam ticked like a cooling stove. "Choose," the voice said again, as if it had practiced the word for years. He looked at the child. Her cheeks were streaked gray with dust and tears, lashes clumped, lips colorless. She was the only thing in the room not trying to pull him down. He knew, in that strange crisp way decisions arrive, that there wasn't a third road to take. "Listen," he said to the dog without looking away from the pit. "On my mark, window." The K9's ears flicked. It didn't glance back. It understood. A hand lifted from the dark, slow and almost polite, as if requesting permission to speak. Fingers curled. Nails scratched a line into the joist under his boot, testing. He shifted, heel grinding, and sighted down the rifle. The faces below angled up as one, attention gathering like weather. "Choose," the voice said, close now, though the mouths were far. The soldier measured the room the way he would a map, distance to the window, to the door, to the stove that had torn loose and lay on its side like a wrecked animal. The lantern was gone. The cold pressed through the cracks, honest and uncomplicated. Everything else had conditions. "If you were in my boots," he said to the air, maybe to the crowd, maybe to the part of him that needed reminding, "would you cut a hole and run, or stand and hold until there's nothing left to hold?" The pit murmured, a many-throated rustle, like pages turning in a wet book. No answer this time. It was done with advice. He reached into his coat with his free hand and pulled a rag dark with lamp oil, the kind of dirty strip every cabin ends up with. He wrapped it around a splinter burning dull in the collapse, still embered where the lantern had kissed it. Breath, patience, a small prayer of friction, and the rag caught a thin orange line. He didn't want flame. He wanted light. Light has edges. It draws lines where fear turns to work. The faces below flinched from it. Not much. Enough. "Choose," the voice repeated, unblinking. He flipped the rag to the joist ahead of him, letting it gutter there, a candle with no candle holder. The small glow drew the attention he wanted, eyes followed it. He used the distraction to move the child higher, pushing her feet to a better grip on the dresser's iron handle. The K9 leaned into her shins, anchoring. "Window," he said again, softer. "On 3. 1. The pit surged. Arms reached, more coordinated now. Hands came up like a harvest of bone, fingers splayed. The joist under his back foot sagged a half-inch. He kept his sight on the center mass beneath and fired. The flash sliced the black. A head cracked back. The sound hit the far wall and came back thin. He fired again. Another face vanished. He didn't wait to learn their names. 2. From below, the voice climbed the joist without moving. It filled the wood, the dust, the space between his teeth. "Choose." He didn't answer it. 3. The dog went first, a dark line of muscle and certainty, launching from the joist to the sill, claws biting old paint, hind legs scrabbling until they found purchase. It turned instantly, chest low, ready to take weight. The child leapt. For a second she hung, fingers fumbling at the frame. The K9 caught the back of her coat in its teeth and hauled, a guttural sound ripping out of it. Her boots found the sill. She pulled herself up, rolling into the narrow pocket of space beneath the window's broken pane. The soldier let out a breath he hadn't had time to take. Below, the hands came higher. The joist popped a nail with a little scream. "Go," he barked to them, finally loud. "Out, now!" The child shook her head, hair wild against the glass. "I won't leave you." The dog stayed, holding her in with its body, but its eyes were on him. It knew what the next step would cost. The soldier's jaw locked. He shifted his stance to draw the weight of the hands toward him and away from the sill. He could feel them thinking, attention as temperature. The room warmed by a degree where it touched him. "Choose," the voice said, no longer a request. He lifted the rifle, not at a face this time, but at the joist ahead, the one that still held most of the hole back from widening. He traced the grain, he knew would. He placed the sight where force would do more than a bullet could alone. He exhaled. "Please," the child said, and he didn't look up because if he did it would turn everything soft. "This stays between me and what's below," he said. "You and him, out." He squeezed. The shot punched into the timber. The joist shuddered, split. The attached boards dropped like a trapdoor, carrying a raft of reaching hands with them. The pit swallowed its own momentum and stuttered. "Now," he shouted. The K9 shoved the child through the window in a violent, necessary way that would look cruel to anyone who had never been in a room like this. She slid out onto the snow-packed sill, vanished into the storm's white. The soldier stepped back to cover their exit, and the joist under his heel finally lost the argument with gravity. It buckled. His foot went through, then his calf. Splinters bit deep. He hauled up on instinct and discipline both, but the world came fast. A hand closed around his boot. Then another at his knee. Fingers found the seam of his trousers and pulled like he was a rope. The fall wasn't far, not in distance. But in silence. The soldier crashed into darkness with a snap of splintered boards and the sting of cold earth. His rifle spun from his grip, clattering across stone. Dust filled his throat, choking him. For one long moment he lay still, lungs refusing to move, ears filled with the rush of his own blood. Then he heard it. The voices. Not a storm anymore. Not fractured, not layered. But close. Whispering against his ear, like a breath not his own. "Help me." He rolled onto his side, coughing. His palms scraped dirt, splinters biting into his skin. The lantern's ember above cast a weak glow through the hole where the cabin had been, painting his form in gold dust. Shapes crowded at the edges, arms straining down, pale fingers twitching inches from his face. He shoved himself up, boots sliding on loose debris. His hand clawed for the rifle, found it, pulled it close. He swung the barrel up, the motion automatic. His pulse thundered. His breath tore from his lungs. The hands didn't strike. They hovered, waiting. The whispers came again, soft, uncertain now. "Don't let him find me." His chest locked. It was her voice. But above, the real girl screamed. Her face appeared in the broken window frame, pale in the snowstorm. Her arms stretched out, reaching down for him. "Don't let go. Please don't let go." The shepherd barked beside her, savage, frantic, its claws tearing at the sill, desperate to leap back down. The soldier's chest cracked open with choice. Voices pressing below, the girl crying above, the dog anchoring them both. The pit surged. A mass moved beneath the surface, pale shoulders, twisted torsos pressing upward, faces stacked and reaching. They weren't climbing for him. They were climbing for her. He slammed the rifle butt into the closest hand, snapping fingers sideways. His voice tore raw. "You don't get her." The whispers hissed back. "Then give yourself." He spat blood, steadied the rifle, fired. The muzzle flash lit the pit like lightning. A dozen faces flinched, collapsed backward into the dark. He fired again. Another body fell. The child's cry rained down through the broken beams. "Don't let him take me." That was the only voice he trusted. The soldier roared above the pit, voice breaking, throat torn raw. "Not while I breathe." The pit answered, weaker now, scattered. Fragments instead of unity. "Not while I breathe. Don't let him. Help me." Each voice grew softer, pulling back into the dark. The soldier's knees buckled. He braced against the dirt wall, hauling himself upright. Splinters and blood streaked his arms. His chest heaved with every breath. Above, the shepherd barked again, its muzzle pressed through the hole, snapping at the shadows reaching upward. Its teeth clamped one pale hand, bone cracking, dragging it back. The child leaned further, sobbing. "Grab me." The soldier dragged himself toward the wall. His hand found a jut of broken board. He climbed. Boots dug into soft earth, fingers clawed into splinters. He pulled upward, higher, higher. The pit whispered one last time, almost gentle. "Choose." He looked down. The darkness wasn't still, but it wasn't surging anymore. It shifted like water, restless but fading. He pulled his eyes away. His voice came low, final. "I already did." The shepherd lunged forward, catching his sleeve in its teeth, pulling with violent force. The child clung to his wrist, her tiny hands white with strain. Together they dragged him up through the splintered floor. He collapsed onto the boards, lungs screaming, body shaking. The dog barked once, standing over him, tail stiff, muzzle dripping red. The child buried her face into his chest, sobbing until words broke free. "I thought you were gone." He pulled her close with trembling arms, voice breaking but steady. "Not leaving you. Not ever." The storm outside pressed harder, wind rushing through the broken window. The cabin groaned under its damage, ready to collapse. The soldier forced himself up, dragging the girl to her feet. The shepherd stayed close, every muscle braced. "Out," he rasped. "Now." They moved together, climbing through the window into the storm. Snow slammed against their faces, biting sharp, but it was honest cold. It wasn't voices. It wasn't whispers. The soldier pulled the child into his coat, shielding her from the wind. The dog pressed against his leg, warm, solid, alive. Behind them, the cabin groaned one last time. Beams shifted, the roof sagged, and then the walls caved inward, collapsing into the pit below. A cloud of dust and snow rose into the night, swallowing the ruin whole. The soldier didn't look back. He kept moving, boots crunching through the drifts. The child's breath rattled against his chest, slowing, steadying. The dog walked at his side, tail brushing snow, eyes still watching the dark. For a long time, the only sounds were the wind and their breath. The voices had stayed behind. Then, faintly, softer than the storm, something brushed against his ear. Not fractured. Not demanding. Just a whisper. "Thank you." The soldier froze for a step. His breath caught. His jaw locked. Then he exhaled, steady. "You're welcome." The wind carried the words away. He looked down at the girl in his arms, her eyes closed, her body trembling but safe. The shepherd leaned against his leg, warm and loyal. He tightened his grip, guiding them forward through the storm. He knew the night would never leave him. He knew the voices might wait in every shadow he walked into from now on. But he had made his choice. And he'd make it again. Because some stories end not with silence, but with survival. He glanced once at the horizon, where a pale light was beginning to push against the storm. Dawn. And his voice, low but certain, carried with it a vow that wasn't just his own. Not while I breathe.